Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. Zan was good. Happy Father's Day to all. Got a goodie tonight. Yeah, E-Man, you've been celebrating Father's Day since the 80s, so you're a veteran. It's my first one. It's different. Definitely different. Waiting for my man Rick to get in here. Yeah, yo. I got on the train late. It's all good. Thank you. Les, thank you. Fuji. You already know. Grand entrance. He just hit me. We good. We good. He there. He on his. He just texted me, so I'm just waiting for him to log in. Appreciate y'all spending y'all Father's Day here. Definitely. It's gonna be a goodie. My boy Rick. Fresh. Just waiting for my dude to log on. I appreciate that, Hove. I gotta be there, bro. Crazy. Especially from our hood, I gotta be number one. ER, my nigga, was good, brother. I'm just waiting for the big homie to join. That's a tough one right there. That's a tough one right there. Do this one. I'm just waiting for Rick to get online and log in. We can get it going. That's tough. There we go. I got you, Rick. Once you pop up here, there you go. I just added you. Yo,
What's going on?
good. Happy Father's Day.
Yo, good looking. Same to you, man. How are you? How are things?
It's different, twin. Celebrating that is different. It's different.
Yeah, it's a good feeling, right? Make it all worth it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely, all the way.
Was good though.
Man, everything is good, man. I'm with the family, having a little family barbecue or whatnot right now.
Okay, okay. I appreciate you giving me some time today, my nigga.
Nah,
Definitely.
come on. That's a given. You know how that goes.
No,
Got to do that
yeah. Let's get to it. Let's get to
all,
it.
all the way.
Yo, so what age you first picked up the basketball, and who put the ball in your hand?
So I picked up the ball from a young age. Now, whether or not I was good or not, that's another story.
Absolutely.
So I picked up the ball probably, I would say, at like 9 years old, 10 years old. It wasn't always that good. Um, then eventually I just started developing after I was like, I want to say like 12 years old. Everything just started changing. I started seeing the game differently. I started really focusing on the craft. My dad, after my seventh grade year, my pops pretty much, we had some racist teachers and stuff at the time because remember, I'm gonna be 40 years old. So at the time, and like you're talking about the late 80s, early 90s, there wasn't too many Spanish kids doing their thing. It was either white or black, and that's it. So at that time, where I was living at in New Jersey, it was in North Bergen. It started transitioning from predominantly white to being more Spanish and starting to get a little bit of color.
Okay.
So back then for a young Spanish kid to want to do his thing, it was almost like it's not gonna happen.
Got you.
But I had a bad situation. I had some racist teachers my seventh grade year. I
Okay.
was a year ahead. I happened to be a year ahead. My pops was like, "Yo," we went to a parent teacher meeting. My
Yeah.
pops was like, "Yo, listen, fuck these teachers. They're a bunch of racist motherfuckers. You a year ahead. They're too stupid to even realize that." He's like, "So we're gonna leave you back. Something that if you see these kids now, they do that shit two, three, four times. You're getting these kids 20 years old, graduating high school. I still graduated at 18. I was gonna graduate at 17.
Got
So I was still on course. You feel me, Drew? Now it's, man, 20 years old in high school. I see these kids in the park. I'm like, nigga, at 20 years old, I was playing college division already.
it.
Pro division. Imagine me playing my own age group my whole life. I would, forget about it. Always above and beyond.
Absolutely.
So we had that shit. My pops was like, "Yo, your punishment is every day. From 6 in the morning to 6 in the night. You got to be in the park." And
Mm,
that's how my life changed, and that's how my game developed,
okay.
because I had some racist teachers that yeah, they turned my pop off, and my pop was like, "Yo, listen, your punishment is basketball." So every day, from that teachers meeting till September, every day from 6 in the morning to 6 at night when the lights came on, I was in the park just being a dog. A lot of times by myself, but just being in there putting the hours in. I changed completely who I was from being cut that seventh grade year
Yeah.
to the next year. Not only being the man, but basically being one of the best seventh graders in New Jersey. So
No.
that's where everything for me. That's how I started to figure out how it works, and started to learn that when you work hard, and when people don't, when they don't have your best interests at heart, kinds of builds a little fire in you. So that's how I started, and that's what turned me from a kid that was just decent to somebody who eventually ended up being pretty successful.
So in that seventh grade, like in that time, were you playing AAU basketball already?
So at that time, like AAU it wasn't a huge thing. And
Yeah.
seventh grade, it was more CYO back then.
Okay.
You
Okay.
remember? Because again, the AAU thing is more quote unquote, categorized than it was before. Before it was CYO. So that
Okay.
seventh grade year, um, there was one CYO team in New Jersey called Our Lady of Grace. And they're a pretty good CYO team. So that year, seventh grade, I didn't go to their tryout. I didn't try out for any CYO teams because again, I wasn't really good yet. I
Okay.
was on the verge of becoming good. So with all the practice and everything I did that summer, I was starting to develop, but I wasn't emerging yet. I was still a young kid that just had a lot of talent that I worked on. So now my eighth grade year, that's when it changed. My eighth grade year, my eighth grade year, Drew, is when I started getting recognized all over the state, and I started, like, it started getting recognized all over. I played CYO my 8th grade year with that same team that would have never looked at me my 7th grade year.
Gotcha.
You know, I have a boy. His name is Billy Brown. He's one of my best friends still to this day. He's a police officer in North Bergen now. Blonde hair, blue eyes, Ken doll, bro. 6-pack, big diesel kid. Back in the days, listen, he got all the girls. You already know. Ken, life size Ken, a real Ken doll. You know, still to this day, he's the same. 6'4", big diesel, light blue eyes. Yo, bro, this guy, he's built like a Greek god. He fucking looks amazing. You know, it's like this guy's he was supposed to be a first draft pick baseball player because he was a lefty. They used to call him Downtown Billy Brown. How many pitchers you know that hit fucking home runs?
Home
None.
run.
None. You don't know no pitcher that's throwing 85 miles an hour at 11 years old and hitting home run. He's batting cleanup. You know, Downtown Billy Brown. That was his thing. That motherfucker was going to pitch no hitters, and he was going to hit 3 dingers out the park in the same game. Like, an unbelievable specimen of a baseball player. But that was my road dog. And he was Italian, all the way Italian. His pops, his mom, they kind of took me in. And that was my man. And Billy played the 4. You know what I'm saying? And I was a shooting guard. So when you're a shooting guard, you need the 4 and the 5s to be on your side because you need them to set some screens so you can get fucking open. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? And Billy understood if I got open, 50% of the chance, that was a bucket. You know, and if it wasn't a bucket and the defense stepped up, you can get some fruits too. Yeah. You know, so it worked out in both of our favors. And bro, me and Billy, man, listen, we played 2-on-2 for maybe 2-3 years straight. We stopped playing like after our sophomore year, and we never lost the game, bro. Last time we checked, we were 103-0. In the streets, every park, all over, 2-on-2. We never got beat anybody our age category, bro.
Undefeated.
Yeah, undefeated. So that's how I got into the CYO because of Billy. He brought me to the practice. They didn't know who I was. They fucking saw me on the court. They're like, yo, we fucking need this Spanish kid. Like, who the fuck is the Spanish kid? Like, he coming in. Back then I didn't see nothing but the basket and the ball. So I'm over there, man. I'm killing, man. I'm scoring every possession, and then I'm cheating. I'm cutting off all the passing lanes. I'm playing no defense, bro. I'm just rebounding and scoring, Drew. You feel me? They're like, yo, we need this kid, and I made the fucking team, bro. That was the best thing that ever happened to me, man. Making that team.
What was that experience like? Because that was a traveling team, right?
Yeah, that was the traveling team. That was the best traveling team. We had the best players, you know, that in the area where I was from in Jersey, that's who you wanted to play for. You wanted to play with OLG, Our Lady of Grace. And I made that team, bro. And not only did I make that team, but again, we went undefeated. Like between my 7th and 8th grade years, oh, thank you, baby. My favorite song is on. You know, the reggaeton is on in the house. So my daughter just told me. So listen, but my 7th grade and 8th grade year, to be honest with you, bro, I didn't lose a game. It was undefeated for 2 years in a row in New Jersey basketball, CYO, the regular 8th grade league. We didn't lose nothing, and we won every championship. So that's how I started. Once my 8th grade year came, I was averaging like something ridiculous, like 42 points a game. I was number 3 in the state. You know, I went from not being ranked 7th grade year to being top 3 in the state of New Jersey going into my freshman year. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it was a big difference between the kid that, you know, had the racist teachers and couldn't play a lick of basketball to in 2 years putting in that work and working hard to being number 3 in the state by the time I graduated middle school. Okay. You know, so me and my dad kind of looked at each other and we were like, yeah, shit worked, you know? Like, fuck these racist white motherfuckers. We got the keys to the town now, like, you know? Yeah, like that was the best redemption ever, man. Like, because it was like, man, you doubted, you didn't know what somebody can be, and even then it was premature. But it was just a good feeling to see myself emerging and to start getting like a little bit of runway to say, like, as far as the national level was concerned. Because now we're talking, once you become a freshman, now you're talking AAU. You know, it's no longer CYO. Now it's AAU.
Got it.
You know?
Let me ask you a question. In Jersey, right? How'd your high school, like your decision to go to the high school you went to? Because you know, like in New York, they got the Archdiocese League, they got the
Hmm.
Rice, the All Hallows, and all that. How's that? How's the leagues in Jersey, and what made you choose the high school you went to?
So
Because
in
now
Jersey
you're
at
that,
that time,
like you're a big deal, like you're becoming that big deal. So I'm sure that a lot of schools wanted you to go to their school.
absolutely. So we're talking 1996, right? So
Yep,
at that time, powerhouses in New Jersey were St. Anthony's, right?
yep.
Marist, Marist at the time, they were known for the James Feltons, the Raymond Suspides. They had a couple of top 50 guys on their team.
Okay.
After that, you're looking at Patterson Catholic. That had Tim Thomas.
Mm.
Shaheen Holloway went to St. Pat's,
Yep. Yeah.
So at that time, it was all pretty much Catholic schools. So I had a scholarship at Marist High School. I had a scholarship for St. Anthony's. Coach Hurley, before I made my decision, Coach Hurley called me in my house one day, and he said, and it's crazy because I live by this saying. He said, "Do you want to be a small fish in a big pond or a big fish in a little pond?"
Okay.
At the time, I didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. I'm like, I want to be the big fish in the little pond. Like, you feel me? I want to be big.
Yeah.
So he said, "So why are you coming to my school?" What was his words? "Why are you coming to my school?" He said, "You're good. You're gonna get a Division I scholarship. You're gonna be on your way." He said, "But you could do that by yourself. Why are you gonna come to?" He said, "Why are you gonna come to St. Anthony's or even Marist?" He said, "You're already Division I prospect. You got the scholarship in the bag." He said, "Why not stay home, score all the points you want, have fun for 4 years, and enjoy your friendships that you're probably not going to see after you graduate high school because you're going to be, you maybe go pro, all these things." And this is Bob Hurley, bro. This is
Yeah.
fucking the coach of saying the number one school in the country at the time that
Yep.
calls my house and is basically telling me, like, "You're stupid to come here." I
Gotcha.
was already signed up, ready to go, Drew. Stupid
Yeah.
to come here. So what happens? All right, I'm going to Marist. I'm young. Coach Hurley don't want me. Fuck it, I'm
Yeah.
going to Marist.
Okay.
So then I started thinking about it though. And it took me like a week. And I'm like, yo, I'm not going to Marist. I'm gonna do what Coach Hurley said. I'm going to North Bergen. Yo, you can ask all my coaches, you can ask anybody that's been to North Bergen games. Mr. Hurley used to come watch me play, bro. He used to
Gotcha.
come watch me play, wait for me after the game, and tell me if I was being selfish or what I had to do or if I had a bad attitude for when the coach took me out. He would coach me from the sidelines, bro. Like, these are the type of relationships I built with him. And why? Probably because I crashed White Eagle Gym. Back in the days, they used to have open gym at White Eagle. I used to crash that shit, bro. I used to go ride my bike down there and go and play. And he
Yeah.
used to love that shit. The first time I got there, he turned me down. You know what he said? "I don't let kids with tattoos in my gym."
Mm.
Because I had a fucking Rick 22 tattoo on my arm at the time.
Yeah.
I came the next day, next Sunday. "Now, Mr. Hurley, listen, I can't take the tattoo off,
Yeah.
but I want to get better. I'm not here to disrespect you or the gym. I'm here to respect the gym, but I want to play with you guys. You guys got the best run in town. How come? How I can't play with you guys?"
Yeah.
And he respected that. He respected the fact that I said that. Let me in on the runs. I was in White Eagle Gym. Rest in peace. That was one of the best runs. Hottest gym in the world, bro. Hottest gym in the world. But the best runs, come on, where can you go play runs? Bobby Hurley, Roderick Rhodes at that time, Jamal Mashburn, bro,
Yeah.
crazy runs.
Yeah.
And it was because of Mr. Hurley I ended up going to the same high school that with kids that I grew up with that used to tell me, "Yo, you can't come to North Bergen because you're not going to play varsity." And I'm a freshman. I'm in the park with these guys, and they're over here throwing me shots. And I'm like, man. So I asked my dad. I said, "Pops, I'm thinking about going to North Bergen." He said, "Yeah, why not?" I said, "I think I'm gonna just go there and fuck shit up." I told him just like that. I told him I'm just gonna go ham. I'm just gonna try to break all the records. I
Yeah.
said, Mr. Hurley said I should do that. Mr. Hurley said I should just go and score all the points and try to break the record.
Yep.
And my pops was like, "Damn right, I think you should do that." And he was like, "And it's free anyway, school's down the block." So I called the coach the same day. I'm like, "Hey, listen," and coach name was Mr. Barone. It's like my stepdad. I'm like,
Okay.
"Yo, Mr. B, I'm coming to North Bergen, man." And that was it. Once I made that decision, I never looked back.
Got you. And going into your freshman year, I already know what your mentality is.
Yeah, you know what it was? So my freshman year, they put me through like the rookie shit, right? So freshman year, they tried to put me to try out for the freshman kids. That
Freshman.
didn't work. I lasted like 15 minutes in the. Can I have some?
How old are you
I
up now?
lasted,
We talking
huh?
freshman.
Oh man, so listen, so from my eighth grade year to when I turned freshman, I was 5'10" as an eighth grader. When I checked in my freshman year of school, I was 6'2". So I grown, yeah, I had grown 4 inches crazy in the summertime,
In the
you
summer.
know, and that was, and I don't even know that how that happened because I was in camps, I was doing a whole bunch of shit. So I grew 4 inches. Once I became 6'2" and I started getting some legs, that started happening at the end of my freshman year. But the beginning of my freshman year, first day of practice, they put me to practice with the freshmen. I lasted about 15 minutes in there, killed them.
Yeah.
They try to put me with the JV. I lasted about 4 minutes in there. Killed them. They can do it because I got to do this. So then they bring me with the seniors now and the juniors, and I'm at the varsity now. So now I'm with all the people that I play with in the parks, and they've been talking shit this whole time, telling me that I can't come
Yeah.
to this school because I'm not going to play.
Yeah.
Now we playing, Muff. We like, you know what I'm saying? Now we playing. So let's play some basketball.
Okay.
Um, and it was just like being in the park, man. I fit right in with the guys. You know, I've always, you know me personally, I talk shit. Like, it's what I do. I've never stopped talking shit.
Yeah.
Like, that was one of the things that drove me because, you know, if I didn't talk, I didn't really play that good because I needed an edge. Yeah, I needed a fan to boo me. I needed somebody to tell me I couldn't do something so I can get that battery in my back, you know? So every
Yeah.
game, I was just like, and every practice, I was just fishing for trouble, you know? And it wasn't because I was a bad kid or I thought I was a tough guy. It was
Yeah.
just I needed something to ignite me and to get me under my skin so I
Yeah.
can push myself to the highest limit. You know
Got you.
what I mean? So I can myself, you know, when I played in the park, I think I was like my freshman year in high school. Um, we were playing 21, 11, 10. So we were down like, I want to say like 14-7. We ended up winning 21-17. Speaking to this older guy while we're drinking water after the game, and he says, "So what's your limit?" And I said, "What do you mean, what's my limit? Well, how many points can you be down before you can come back and beat the team?"
Mm.
And I never thought of that about that before. I'm
Yeah.
like, what? He's like, you were down 14-7 and you ended up winning 27-7, 21-17. He's like, so do the math. You know, that's a 14-3 run,
Mm.
basically. You know, from the 14-3 run, you probably had 9 points.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he's like, so what's your limit? And I'm like, damn, I don't know what my limit is. You know, so now, like at the end of my career, I catch myself asking Mike Rosario, who's a rookie, who's my rookie at the time in Ponce.
Mm-hmm.
So Mike was a good player. He's a guard just like me, but he didn't understand what his limit was. He couldn't get to his limit because he never pushed himself to the point to where you think about trying to beat a whole team by yourself,
Got
right?
it.
Because you got to get to like a certain point to do that. So I asked him, Mike, what's your limit? He's like, what the fuck you talking about? I don't know his limit. I figured my limit out. My limit was 24 points. I
Wow.
could be down by 24 points. Coach could put me in the game, and I could fuck the game up in a matter of minutes and come back and win that game. But that was my limit. I never came back from a 25-point deficit in my career, but
Yeah.
I've came back from many 24-point deficits in my career many times and won the game.
Got it.
So my limit was 24 points. That was my limit.
That's tough.
So, yeah, you just reminded me. I gotta ask Mike because I've been retired for some years. Mike still plays. I gotta ask him if he found his limit yet.
So you said going into your ninth grade year, you started playing AAU as
A
well?
little bit more should cook more. Yeah. So here's how my AAU career started. Right. So kind of same thing like Coach Hurley. Same thing with my CYO. Right.
Yeah.
So my whole life I've been this big fish in a little pond.
Okay.
So my freshman year, the Gauchos want me to play with them. Riverside want me to play with them. I'm a Harlem kid, but I live in Jersey. But
Yep.
everybody who's in the New York AAU circuit, they understand that I play in 96th Street and Lex all the time. I play on 131st all the time. Ace, all these guys that were running the leagues back then,
Yeah.
I've won championships already in my hood from when I was young, all the time already. So I was known in New York as well.
Yep.
So when it came to AAU, everybody's on me. Oh, who are you going to play with? Who are you going to play with? So there was this team called St. Michael's that was in Union City, New Jersey. Guys that played for St. Michael's were basically all local guys, Spanish guys, some Seton Hall prep guys, guys that were, I would pretty much mid-major program. It was a mid-major Division I program. We didn't have high majors. Our high major was James Felton, who was almost a McDonald's All-American before T-Mac windmilled on his ass at ABCD camp. If T-Mac don't windmill on him, he becomes a McDonald's All-American.
Got
You
you.
know what I mean? And rest in peace to my man James.
Yeah.
So it was a mid-major program, but I was okay with that. Why? Because the coach was my man. The first time I went into the gym, he threw me out. He threw me out because I was bitching. He was the ref. I was bitching about fouls, this, that, and the third. Yo, fuck out my gym. That was my first encounter with the guy. So I'm like, Dad, I kind of like this guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he did treat me special because I was a killer. I got buckets, and everybody wanted me to play with him. This guy, little small Irish guy, he didn't give a fuck who I was and nothing. Nigga threw me out the gym. Like, Pops, I like this guy. Let's rock with this guy. So I played with St. Michael's all 4 years AAU, bro. You know what I'm saying? And we played in all the local tournaments. We played back then. It was the national AAU national championship. My senior year, I was an AAU All-American. But I stayed with St. Michael's, bro. I stayed loyal to St. Michael's because that's who I was. You know what I'm saying? I didn't go for what was the hype team. I
Yeah.
went for where I was loved and where I was comfortable, where I could be Rick. You know what I'm saying? Because you know me, I have a very, very specific character. I
Yeah.
can get a little wild sometimes. You know what I mean? I'm gonna curse. I'm gonna act out. I'm gonna test the referees.
Yeah.
That's just who I was. And if you accepted me for who I was, then I always fuck with people like that. It doesn't matter who it was. I'm loyal to the core. And that started from a young age. I could have CYO, same thing. I could have played with other teams, but I stuck with the guys that chose me when they didn't have to choose me.
Got you.
And but yo, listen, we played against Riverside. We played against the Chose. We got into a fist fight with the church. Me, Omar Cook. Back then, a bunch of guys I didn't play with no punks. That was the thing. It was just a bunch of guys that wanted to grind, and we didn't care who we played against, bro. We got into fist fights with Riverside that they threw us out of the tournament, and we got into a fist fight with St. Patrick's when they had Fridge and Al Harrington when Al Harrington was a senior, bro. I knocked Al Harrington out in the middle of the game. That's a fact. That is a whole fact. One hitter quitter. He hit me in my private section. See you in the middle of the game. And my AAU coach, you know what he did? He walked off the floor because they wanted to give me a technical.
Got you.
And we won 17-16. You know how many points I had? I had 16 points of the 17. I was killing them. Twin. Killing them. And it was a game we wasn't even supposed to play because the team that they were supposed to play, they ain't show up. So I just finished scoring 35. We just won a game. They're like, yo, St. Pat's got nobody to play. Krzyzewski's there. Coach Smith is there because Dean Smith, rest in peace, was alive back then. Coach Calipari's there. Everybody's here to watch Al Harrington. You think I don't want to play? Nah, they're going to see Rick Apodaca, who's who these niggas going to see. They're not going to see Mr. Harrington, nothing. I think I had more points. I think it was 21-19, and I had like 20 points. I was going ham. I was going for like 60. And I was going to get it because I already had, it was like 2 minutes left in the first. They tried to steer me off my game because I was killing them. Hit me in my private section. As soon as they hit me in my private section, it was just a reaction. Woo! Ref didn't see me. Dropped Al Harrington, bro. That the whole gym went crazy because the number one player in the country just got knocked out by the Spanish kid from St. Michael's. Like, who the fuck is St. Michael's? Yo, crazy.
Your friend. So when you go into high school, that you getting in with the varsity team, how'd that freshman season go for you?
So my freshman year, I was honorable mention all county. I was six man. You could have called me six man of the year. I averaged 12 points coming off the bench. Um, I played like 24 minutes a game, so I was basically playing starter minutes. You know, from when I was a freshman. If you ask me, I should have been starting, but you know, it is what it is. They had a couple of older guys that had already been in the program for a long time. It was their senior year. So my senior year, I didn't even listen. My jersey's retired in my high school. My freshman year, I didn't play with number 22. I had to play with 31 because the senior was number 22. You
Okay.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it was cool. You know, I had a good group of guys that I have known already for a while, and you know, we had each other's back. We all grew a relationship outside of the court. So you know, we went to back state championships my freshman and sophomore year. We lost both, but we went to back state championships.
I was gonna ask you, how did your sophomore year come about? Like considering that you had the seniors out of there already, you
So
got the
that's when
keys
I
your
started
sophomore.
turning up. Yeah, because at that time, once the guys that were the haters were gone, my sophomore year was lit because now I had Jerry Rivera, who's a Puerto Rican point guard, on my team. My four-man was Davis Ricard, who was a Dominican four. You know, my five was Andy Lorenzo, who was a Peruvian five with long hair. You know what I mean? So I had a bunch of guys that came from the same thing I came from. And not only that, we've been playing with each other in the parks every day for the last 3 years. So
Gotcha.
we already knew how to play with each other. So my sophomore year, I averaged like 21 a game. But it was because the guys that were then seniors, they already grew to respect me enough where they trusted me with the ball in my hands.
Gotcha.
I didn't have to prove to them what I could do. They already knew what I could do. Why? Because it's the second team from last year. Is the dudes that I was grinding with against the first team so we could all play more minutes.
Gotcha.
And the second team, we used to bust the white team's ass last year. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's basically just my starting five. And I used to always tell the coaches, this is the real starting five. Now you just have to start them motherfuckers. They seniors, but this is the real team right here. So it was our time, you know, and we were ready for it. And we went to the county and state championships. We lost both bonehead plays, two bonehead play, one bonehead play by my coach, one bonehead play by my teammates that cost us both of those, but that's part of the game.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we got there though. We got there and back to back, like I said, county and state. So hard to do, but we did it.
And you went from averaging 12 points coming off the bench as a freshman to 21 as a sophomore.
Yeah, 21 as a sophomore, 25 as a junior, 31 as a senior. I only
I
went
was
up.
so your junior year, I know you gotta be feeling like that basket is 100 feet wide because you already know what it is to be given the keys at a high level. So
Yeah, it was.
what's that mentality and the feeling like coming into your junior year?
So my junior year was messed up because during my sophomore year, I had broken three of my toes going into my junior year. So I missed the whole summer of my junior year. This was some dumb shit I did in June, playing pickup games while there was no school. Playing, I'm just keeping shit, just be me being competitive. I go to dunking on this kid Vladi, who's a senior at the time, who has no future, by the
Yeah,
way, and he's trying to meet me at the rim. Like, you know,
yeah,
like, bro, your career's over. You're going to community college. Get out of here. Tries
yeah,
to meet me at the rim. I punch it on his head, but as I dunked it on him and I come down, the ball goes straight through the rim. And because I dunked on him so hard and he tried so hard to hit me, we kind of like stayed in front of the rim and the ball went straight down. Once the ball went straight down, once it bounced and it came up, my foot kind of caught it and I went straight down with my foot on the ball. Boom, broke three of my toes.
oh,
This is June. This is like June
dang,
16th. School finishes June 24th. We're a week before school. So I go, I need emergency
got,
surgery because I broke three toes in six places. So now,
oh,
listen, I'm supposed to go to ABCD camp. Now, you know, my junior year, I'm about to turn it up. I'm about to start becoming top 50 in the world, in the country type of
yeah,
shit, you know?
yep,
And, you know, my whole summer was ruined, bro. My whole sophomore to junior year summer was ruined. I started physical therapy in September. Um, By the time the season came, back then we used to start the day after Thanksgiving. After the time when the time the season came, there was like, yeah, I wasn't 100%. I was like 60%. They was like, yo, you probably shouldn't play, shouldn't start playing. But I was out there limping, playing. My first couple of games, I think I only scored like 10, 12 points, you know. But
Yeah.
I stuck with the rehab. I kept working, and then I just found my rhythm. Once I found my rhythm, I started turning it up, and I was able to average 25 points a game, become Player of the Year, second team All State, all that. And that was coming off an injury. During my first like 5 games, I was like 40%. It wasn't even like 60, 70%.
And you putting up 25 a clip.
Yeah, because at the end of the year, I just started going off. I had like, I want to say I had like a good like 5, 6 games in a row where I had 40 or better. So when you do that, that always helps fill in the blanks for the other games, you know. I've always been a numbers guy, you know. So
Fact.
yeah, so and then my senior year, that was it. You know, my senior year was there was no injuries. I went to ABCD camp finally. You know, my junior year I still went,
Yeah.
just so they could see my face, and because I was already invited, I
Oh,
wasn't gonna let I wasn't gonna let Crutcher slow me down. I still wanted to know that you know I'm coming back next year, and don't forget about me just because I'm fucked up right now. I'm gonna come back stronger, and I'm coming to give y'all some work next year. So it was a tough summer though. Definitely was a tough summer.
you had to rehab. So you still playing AAU at this point or no?
I can't do nothing. I'm in crutches the whole summer.
No, I got you. I don't mean literally that at that time when you were hurt. I'm just saying you still held on to the AAU circuit all the way through high school.
Just give me something. Yeah? Just give me a little bit. Say that again, my bad, sir.
No, it's all good. I didn't mean during the injury. What I meant was all through high school you played AAU basketball.
Yeah, absolutely. So then my senior year, I played with St. Michael's again. I became an AAU All American. Um, I was averaging like 30 points a game, AAU. Like at that time, the other guards that were good, that were ahead of me, ranked ahead of me, was Majestic Matt from St. Raymond's.
Hmm.
He was a bum though. Like I always killed. I gave him 40 clip every time I played against him. Like straight bum. Even in the Bronx, I gave him 40. Then he played with the church in the Bronx, like in his own school. Like nah, he was a bum. And he made a McDonald's All American over me. That shit still got me tight.
Right.
Um, Todd Billett went to University of Virginia, white kid from Jersey, bum too. I gave him 40 many times too. The Crispin brothers that went to Penn State, they was averaging 40 clips, 45 points a game in Jersey, but they was playing against, you know, Joe Schmo
Yeah.
from the beer league in Coors Light Stadium. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I gave them 40 clips a couple of times too. Like, you know, I always played with a chip on my shoulder because I always felt like I was underrated. You know what I'm saying? I never got ranked the way I should have been ranked. I was a top 100 McDonald's All American, but if you ask my coaches and you ask me, I should have been a McDonald's All American and a first round draft pick right out of high school. Like that's how much confidence I was coming into places.
Right.
And people used to be like, "Yo, you crazy? You going up against Andre Barrett? Or are you going up against Kenny Satterfield today?" Yeah, so what? K-Sat got to go up against me too.
Yeah.
If he get 40, I'm gonna get 40, and we get to cancel out. Worry about your man, because that's where the rest of the points coming from.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But ain't nobody. I'm not locking nobody up, but ain't nobody outscoring me, bro. I wasn't
Yeah.
playing defense in high school, but I was matching people point for point,
Yeah.
and it was you know, a 40 clip was easy for me. You know, I used to get 30 at halftime sometimes. You know what
Gotcha.
I'm saying? So I wasn't. So at that point in time, I was healthy. I was at my peak, and I didn't feel nobody was messing with me. I was even going to colleges, you know, and giving college kids work at the time. Like Kerry Kittles was in Villanova. I gave Kerry Kittles some work back in the days when I was a young kid. You know,
Yeah.
the kid from there's a kid there. What's his name? Oh man, he went to Seton Hall University, right? I ended up playing against this kid many times in Europe. He's a legend. Ramon, I forget it. I forget his name. Damn, white dude, right?
Yeah.
From Slovenia. His thing was curling in the lane. And I was a sophomore in high school. He was a junior in Seton Hall, like one of the best players. And I beat him 21-8 in a
Mm.
one-on-one at going to visit Seton Hall's practice facility. Like,
Let's
yo, who's the best kid you got? Bring him out here right now. 21-8, beat him. You know, Speedy Williams from the Harlem Wizards. The Harlem Wizards come to my school.
Yeah.
They go, they play or whatever. After the game, you know, security starts talking about me. Speedy's like, what? This kid, nothing, this, that, and the third. I beat Speedy one-on-one, 11-9.
Let's go.
Beat him. I was like 17 years old. Beat him too, 11-9. What are you talking about? Like, I really do this. Y'all got me fucked up. Speedy's the person that put me in Puerto Rico.
Okay.
Speedy's the one that put me on the game. He said, yo, where are you from? what nationality are you? And what are you doing in North Bergen, New Jersey? I told him, I
Yeah.
said, listen, I'm Puerto Rican or whatever. Put me in contact with one of the agents that at the time had known the rules and regulations. And that's the reason why I went to PR, because of Speedy Williams, for being Speedy in the one-on-one. That's how I got out there.
That's respect. That's hard right there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
When did the recruitment start for you? When did they start? When did they start hounding you?
Nah, I was getting letters from my freshman year. I was
Okay.
getting Coach Frashella at the time. He was at St. John. He offered me my first college scholarship my freshman year, and that was because he went to remember James Felton, again, rest in peace, was going to St. John's University, and we played them in the finals 2 years in a row. And after him seeing me give them niggas 26 my
Mm.
freshman year off the bench in the county final game,
Yeah.
as a true freshman, because there's no true freshman anymore. I was a true 14-year-old. I
Yeah.
was really 14. You
Yeah.
know, he after that game, the next day, I have a Division One scholarship to St. John's University. You know what I mean? So that's when it started, and after that, it was just like an abundance of letters. Like, you can't imagine how many letters and scholarships I've got. I got a scholarship from every school pretty much in the country except for Duke.
Gotcha. So going into your senior year, how many points do you need to break that all-time leading scoring record out there
Man,
in the county? Did
I
you know
think I.
about that, or were you just going?
Oh
Were you
yeah, no, that
aware
was my
of
goal.
what it was?
My whole career, that was my goal. So if you think about it, at the time, the scoring record was 1,996 points, right? So my
Yep.
thing was I was going for 500 points a year. 500 times four is two bands. I beat it by 4 points. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was my thing. So my senior year, I only needed like another like 500 points to do it.
Okay.
So I wasn't worried about it though, because you know I knew I was gonna come in a monster. I knew I was gonna, as long as I didn't get hurt, I knew I was gonna be, you know, averaging 30 points a game, because I wanted to average 40, to be honest with you, but I knew I was gonna at least average 30. I ended up averaging 32 and a half. But I was going for the
Okay.
40, and to the defense of Hudson County basketball, Hudson County basketball ain't no chump. So I wasn't playing against the same guys, like I just told you, Joe Crispin with the guy that, you know, the Bud Light sponsored guy. I wasn't playing against those guys. I was playing against strong, athletic men that were from all different types of backgrounds, but that weren't no punks, and definitely didn't want a Spanish motherfucker coming in and giving them 40, especially in their own neighborhood and
Yeah.
stuff. So it wasn't, I make it sound like it was easy. It wasn't easy. I had box cutters thrown on the floor at me before games, talking about, yo, bro, you score more than 20 points, this is yours. And I score 45 and a win, and it's a whole riot after the game. Like a fucking riot where they want to kill us. Like, and they're
Yeah.
throwing rocks at our buses when we leave. Like, shit's happened many times before, you know?
Got
Because again, I always look for that edge on my shoulder. So if you was gonna put the battery in my back, we going all the way with it, bro. It's gonna last 40 minutes, and we'll figure it out after the game. Once the game's over, I used to be scared as shit sometimes. Like, yo, I'm wilding. Like, yo, they're gonna kill us, bro. They're
it.
gonna kill us. Like, my coaches will be like, yo, Apodaca, you're nuts. But guess what? The next day when we go to school, we sit back and we laugh, and then like, yo, we got out of that shit. It used to be crazy, man. I'm telling you,
So
crazy.
let me ask you something. Going into your senior year, you already knew where you what school you wanted to go to for college, or it
Yeah.
took
So
talk
my
about it.
thing was I never wanted to. I never wanted to like my senior year. I wanted to enjoy.
Okay.
So I wasn't gonna be pressed, forcing myself to average 30, 35, so I could get a, an ACC school or something like that. I already had pretty much chosen down to 5 schools. I did all my visits in the summertime. While I was playing AAU basketball, I would go to the school. If I was in Connecticut, I went to the University of Connecticut. At the time, there was the #1 school in the country. And while I was there, I also went to the University of Fairfield because Fairfield more catered to me. And they were going to let me be what I be and let me, go ham.
Yep.
So I knocked it down to 5 schools. I signed in the first round of the signing period because I had over 150 scholarships. I could have literally went anywhere except for Duke, and I got the North Carolina scholarship late. Um, but yeah, I was basically sure.
What were
Yeah.
those 5 schools?
So it was Fairfield, University of Clemson, Georgia State University, Hofstra University, and the last one was, damn, what was the last school? St. Bonaventure. St.
Okay.
Bonaventure was the last school.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but once I went to Hofstra, I already knew Hofstra was for me, bro. Coach Wright was young, he was fly. He talked the type of shit I like to talk. Um, the campus was dope. It was close to my crib. It was close to my grandma, who I love. I was able to dorm, and if I wanted to go home, I can go home as well. Thank you.
Okay.
So it was an obvious choice, man.
So you
It
made
was,
that decision early.
yeah, I did it. I signed the first day you could sign. You
Okay.
know what I'm saying? And then, yeah, it wasn't a hard decision for me. I had prayed the whole summer. Um, I went through the recruiting process. I went through all the coaches calling my phone all day, every day. I was tired of that shit. I was tired of making believe I was interested in coaches.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I told my dad, I'm like, Dad, I don't know, it's just something about Hofstra. It feels like it's for me. It feels like it's right. I love the guys. I love the coach. It's not the big name school that I thought I was going to go to because, look, I was top. I was number 61 in the country, so
Yep.
I could have went anywhere I wanted.
Yeah.
But it goes back to what Coach Hurley said again. Do I want to be a big fish in a little pond, or I want to be a small fish in a big pond? That shit always stuck with me my whole life,
Yeah.
and I've always been the big fish in a little pond
Yeah.
because of
Yeah.
Coach Hurley.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
so it just felt right, and we did that shit. We signed there right away.
Okay. So you got that out the way, and now it's the purge for your senior year. Are you
Yeah.
thinking like, how are you guys in terms of in the run for for a championship, for a state championship?
So we weren't in the run for a state championship, but we knew we had to run for the county championship.
Okay.
So I played with a lot of football and baseball players. I didn't really have any basketball players, so I played with a lot of brutes.
Gotcha.
But they played hard
Yep.
and they hit hard.
Yep.
So my senior year, I think we went to the county championship and we lost again to Ferris. I think the double team all day, very athletic team. It was. I think I only scored like that might be one of the few games that I didn't score 20 points. I think I scored like 19 points, but I shot like I want to say like 4 for like 30.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I was letting it loose, but it wasn't going in that day. And
Gotcha.
the coach knew me very well, Mr. Anderson, Kyle Anderson's father. He was
Okay.
the coach of the team.
Yes.
That guy pretty much raised me as well. I used to work summer camps with him. I know Mr. Anderson all my life pretty much. It's my pops, everything. So yeah, he put the double team on me all day, and and they were able to defeat us. But it was an amazing time, man, and a lot of good memories with a lot of good guys, man.
Going into your senior year, how far into the season before you took the scoring title?
Title on the last day of my senior year. It was the you know what? I'm lying to you. We made it to the state championship too. My senior year, we lost in the state championship to TNEC, and that's where I broke the record at. And that was my last game, and I broke the record in the second half. On the first half, it was just it was a lot going on. It was a rough gym to play in. I think I only had like 7 points in the first half. I ended up with 21, but I needed 12 points to break the record. And again, they were a good team, well coached. To double team again all night, but they got it done. They got it done for sure, and they beat us in the States.
Let me ask you a question, bro. From coming from that kid in the 7th grade that wasn't that good, right, to becoming the all-time leading scorer in a matter of like 4 years. How was that feeling? And what type of work did it take for you to get that done? Because I don't think that a lot of people understand the behind the doors, what goes on to get to the way they see the finished product. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was. I mean, it started that 7th grade summer, and it didn't end till 2016 when I retired. You know what I'm saying? It's so they say you practice how you play, right? So repetition is key in everything we do.
Yeah.
I put that work in from the moment my pops told me I wasn't going to be in school no more until the day I retired. And, you know, it's easy to say, yeah, I put that work in, but I'm talking about hours and hours in the gym and hours of, you know, just talking to the ball like it was an actual person and actually knew what the hell I was saying, and sleeping with the ball. And it's hard to explain, but it's something that you have to do to get to where you want to go. And it just depends on who you are and how far you want to go in life and how far you want to take this. Like, to me, it was all I had. It was all I got. It was my baby. It was my girlfriend. It was the reason why I was getting places. It was the reason why I was eating certain things. It was the reason why I was meeting certain people. You know what I'm saying? So it was more like my life, you know, and it just determined on how I was going to handle it. So, you know, the more you put into it, the more you get out of it. That's how I was raised. That's how I was taught. So I gave it my all.
Okay, that's what's up. So,
Yeah.
what are your expectations going into your freshman year after what you did to high school basketball?
So you can't tell me nothing, right?
Yeah.
I'm Rick Apodaca, all-time leading scorer, Hudson County history. Going to little ass Hofstra University.
Yeah.
Hempstead, Long Island.
Yeah.
Could have went to North Carolina, Clemson, you know?
Yeah.
Can't tell me nothing. But somebody should have told Jay Wright that.
Got you.
I was nobody, bro, my first day on campus. I had this guy by the name of Speedy Claxton.
Yes,
Who
sir.
was the man? Who was the man? Okay? He was the man.
Yeah.
I was a nobody.
Got you.
He was what I wanted to be. So it's like, man, you put all this work in to get back to fucking square zero, bro. So I'm like, damn. But I was in the right school. My first week at campus, hit it off with the girls from the dance team and the football players.
Yeah.
So I started getting a good name around campus.
Okay.
And but I wasn't the man. You know what I'm saying? Speedy Claxton was the man, and there was nothing that I can do about it because he was a bad motherfucker, and he
Yeah.
was bad, and he was better than me. And I ain't meet too many people better than me at the time.
Yeah.
He was a bad mojo, and but he took me in like a little brother. You know what I mean? He took me in like a little brother, and he didn't allow me to quit, which was important because there was a lot of times my freshman year where I wanted to be that ignorant kid and just say, man, fuck you. I can go to any school I want and just leave like a lot of these kids do now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But kids only do that if they're not around the right people. If you're around the right people want what's best for you. They don't care if it's not what's best for themselves. They want what's best for you. Whether you want to hear it or not, the right people are going to let you know that.
Yep.
Speedy and my teammates at the time, because Coach Wright, listen, he's one of the best coaches in the world, but he's going to test you physically and psychologically. He's going to put you on the fucking line. And if you act like a girl, he's going to call you a bitch. And if you act like a pussy, he's going to call you a cunt. You know, but he's going to get the best out of you. So he's going to make you test yourself to see how much you really want this shit and how great you're really trying to be. That's the reason why Coach Wright has so many successful players. Why? Because if you're not willing to be tested mentally, you're not ready to be tested physically.
At all.
You gotta get through the mental part of the shit first. So if you're not getting beat up in practice by your teammates, number one, then by your coach, then you're in the wrong fucking team. Because at the end of the day, these guys go to war with.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to have your back. My guys at Hofstra, man, Coach Wright, he coached us tough, but that's because he had a bunch of tough kids with him, and we had each other's back. And those guys would never let me quit. Like they would never let me quit, bro. Listen, we wouldn't even guys would get thrown out of practice, and we wouldn't even let guys get thrown out of practice, bro. Like the senior will go get them, tell them, yo, you need to chill, you need to apologize. You're dealing with your emotions right now. Just relax, chill out, take a breath, go back in there, be a man, apologize to everybody. Because at the end of the day, what coach says goes when you're in college. And if you don't listen, you gotta go.
Facts.
That's why you see all these kids transferring. Why do you think they transferring? Because they're not good? No. Because they used to be in baby by all these AAU people over here petting them like they dogs, acting like they're better than them. No, man. You need to be with the coach that keeps it raw with you. The one that tells you, yo, like how you used to coach. Yo, y'all fucking up. Yeah, I know y'all good. Y'all not playing good right now, though. What are y'all doing? Wake your asses up. Yeah, wake your asses up. Like, what the fuck you doing? You playing like a buck, like shit. Like, what y'all doing? We got drunk? Were you in the club still? Wake up. Right? Because if you don't rock like that, then you ain't never gonna be successful.
At all.
But my guys at Hofstra, from the day I got there to the day I left, yo, those guys, even now, they've had my back and they've always had my back, man. But Speedy's the man. Speedy's the man. That motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yo, that was a bad motherfucker, Drew. That's the toughest guard I had in my life.
He was real, man.
Toughest cover I had in my life.
Ever?
Bro, besides Steve Nash, who got a better mid-range game than Speedy Claxton? Nobody. Pick and roll, 2 dribble pull up. That's Speedy all day.
That's cash.
2 dribble pull up. And then he's gonna hesitate on you. If you jump the screen, he's gonna hesitate 1 dribble crossover pull up. Nastiest point guard I've ever played with in my life, bro. And not to mention, he got a 46-inch vertical at his peak.
Yeah, he's super athletic. Yeah,
bro. We had alley-oop plays for Speedy. Nigga's a 6-foot point guard.
Yeah.
What are we doing throwing the alley-oop over the 7-footer to this guy for?
Yeah, that's a fact.
No, como tú digas, Marino. You see, está bien. We got the lobster, all that. We eating good over here today for Father's Day. But
ain't nothing.
Yeah,
that's what you do.
Speedy, man. Listen, my toughest guard of my whole career. Speedy and Kobe. I give him that.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, that's a different conversation right there, though.
Nah, that nigga was forget about it. Kobe was something else, and I thought I was.